Oh, Gary.
Be careful what you say now. The print.
Yeah, where should I go?
I send a link normally in the group.
Okay, have a look.
I think the last link I sent, I'm not sure. It takes you to the page where all the cards are with all the paperwork, necessary paperwork. I can't look. I can't see it right now.
Okay.
I need Nadine here really, because she would get it for you right away. But
Nice.
it is on the group anyway.
Okay.
Every time I write on the group, like here's the info, the training info, it will take you to that page.
I see.
You can print everything out on there. Hi, Nina.
Hi, how are you?
Very, very well. How are you?
I'm good.
Excellent. So Nina hasn't been on Frido before, everyone. She's never done Frido.
Okay.
So don't sound too excited, Limor. So,
I'm just looking for the page, that's all.
okay.
I don't think
All
you
right.
put it on the group.
I always put it on the group. How dare you?
No,
He's,
Gary, I don't think you did.
he's forgotten this time because Nadine is not there.
Okay, okay. So I just got.
I can manage perfectly well without Nadine.
But you didn't send the link to the group.
It's all recorded, by the way.
Oh yeah, okay.
But Limor, if you go back to the main training link that Gary sent you for the first time, then you find the cards through there.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll send you otherwise another time, Limor.
Okay,
Don't worry
fine. I
too
can
much.
relax now.
So if we just have a very brief sharing. So first of all, Mina, what have you got? Anything to share since your last journey last week?
Not much has been happening here because I think this week is just a prayer week for me. So everything was calm and there was peace, to be honest. And yeah, that's it. Last week I worked with the word trust, and maybe I'm trusting myself so far. So it was kind of a good week for me, and I'm looking forward for today's journey.
Oh, cool. And is there anything you can share with Nina? Because she hasn't experienced any Frido at all, apart from my podcast.
Okay. Hello, Nina. Welcome to the
Hi. Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you. And I do believe, well, you will enjoy this group and all the support you get here with the Frido. And you will be flying like I am at the moment. Because when I started Frido, I was very weak and vulnerable. But now I'm not. I'm strong, independent, happy. We all have our up and down sometimes, but this group, this journey, Frido, is really for everyone to support. And Gary is the best teacher you will ever have.
Oh, bless you.
Yes. So the more we will go into Frido, maybe you will hear more stories and all. But for today, I think that's all I will say to you. Welcome and happy to have you here.
Lovely. Thanks, Mina. Okay, let's go for Adina. What's been happening for you in the last week?
Last week, it's been a good week. I've been feeling quite okay. There's always, as Mina said, there's always ups and downs sometimes, but it's how we handle those ups and downs is the thing. And when it comes to the actions, I did take a couple of actions actually, and then I slipped back into my routine with the health kind of action. But I think, yeah, maybe just putting more awareness into like really following through these action steps. I mean, it's all happening. I printed the page out now. I clicked on the test info even, and we are organizing a community event. So,
well, that's cool. Hope I'm invited.
so sooner or later it's all happening, and sometimes it takes time. But as you said on the Facebook post, in one of the Facebook posts, it's like how we focus on certain things and they start to happen. And I think, yeah, for what I'd say about Frido is a great personal development tool to approach things from all sorts of perspectives and incorporate various things into our lives on like so many different levels. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Adina. And Magic, how about you?
So last time when we see each other, we've done the offense. I mean, I choose the symbol offense, which eventually brought me to some kind of trouble, you know, just to embrace this kind of way of communicating without being afraid of just saying what you have in your mind. And at the end, I realized that actually if people are offended, if they feel offended, they should ask themselves why they feel like that. And not really blaming others for telling them this. Maybe it wasn't even true, but why they reacted like that. So it was like a huge lesson for me. And I was thinking like for over 2 weeks and experiencing speaking with people in a different way, in polite way, but like more straightforward. And yes, and after that, a lot of things happened in my life. There were some drama, some good things. So over this period of 2 weeks, actually, I came into some kind of point in my life that I'm feeling more free, actually. Yeah. So yeah, so that's it. And I'm now after 2 weeks of not being with you guys, actually was looking forward to meet you again.
That's great, Magic. Thanks very much. Nice to have you back as well. We're just missing Nadine today. Harry and Kirsty should be coming on, but you know what they're like, so they might just they might appear. And Tiffany apologized, she can't make it today. Okay, and Limor, how about yourself? What's been happening in your Frido journey since we last met?
Okay. Yeah, I felt very nervous, to be honest. I just trying to do a lot of things. Like before I was quite sleepy. Now I kind of feeling more active, but then I also need to find a balance. Like, so I want to go out and do things, but also I want to be more centered in myself. That's why I find I'm lacking. And so I've been working on that, working with the resistance. That's what I'm looking forward to for today, because I'm working with my resistance, yeah, I think I know what I'm gonna have, what my symbol is.
Okay. All right, thanks, Limor. That's perfect. And Nina, just a quick word from you. Maybe just share a moment with us, a few words or sentences to whatever you would like to share.
Okay, well, I'm happy to be here and thank you for letting me observe all of you. I appreciate that. Yeah, curiosity has brought me. I'm at a point in my life where lots of different areas of my life, I just kind of want to bring them all together. I feel like I have so many, I'm wearing so many hats and kind of pulled so thin, and I just feel like I just need to be connected into myself and really learn how to bring all of this all of these things together in a way that just feels natural and cohesive and healthy. So yeah.
Okay, that's lovely. Thank you so much. So you're very welcome with us. So we're going to be working today on with this symbol today, which is resistance. Not sure how well you can see it, but those of you who've got your own cards can see your own cards, of course. A lot of you know this card already. So it's kind of, yeah, we've got kind of two characters here, and they're standing back to back. So they're looking in different directions, opposite directions to each other. Mm. So this is where a lot of conflict comes into play with this card. Because conflict with others, because this could be you and your partner. It could be you and your child, you and your friend, you and your whoever, you know, your parents, and you're both looking in different directions. You've got different viewpoints. That's where conflict happens, when you've got opposite viewpoints and you just can't agree with the other. You can't see the other often. That's normally why we don't agree with other viewpoints, because we don't understand them. That's why it's frustrating sometimes to try and get your point across to somebody and they refuse. They're just arguing with your view. That's because they don't understand your viewpoint. And the same is the opposite way around. Often when we're arguing against someone's viewpoint, it's not that they're necessarily wrong, because in their mind, it makes sense to them, but we can't see that. So it's often a case of not understanding the other view. We also have in our own mind and body different viewpoints. You know, we've got the devil and the angel. We've got the negative and positive. We've got all different viewpoints. You know, one viewpoint saying we should do something, and another viewpoint saying, no, we don't want to do that. So we have this inner conflicts going on as well, which is very frustrating. And that's again because we're not understanding both viewpoints fully, and we don't know how to get them to work together. How do you get black and white to see each other's viewpoint? It's very difficult. In fact, you can't. In Frido, you can't actually. If you're 100% black, you will never understand what it is to be white, and vice versa. If you're 100% something, you can't be anything other than what you are. You can only see things through your own viewpoint. So, but you can appreciate others' viewpoints. You can understand how you relate to other people's viewpoint, how you can dance with them without trying to necessarily know exactly or understand 100% what that person means. We can actually see our role to play. And it doesn't matter, like if we're not friends with somebody or they don't affect our life, who cares? Who cares what their viewpoint is and what yours is? It doesn't matter, because there's no need for them to work together. It's only when somebody else's viewpoint is affecting you, or you're affecting somebody else, your viewpoint's affecting, that's when it can be a conflict and a problem. So we're going to be looking at that energy today. So if you want to close your eyes a moment, I'm going to read the poem out because Nina hasn't been here. So we're going to read the poem to allow us to enter into the journey today. So if you just close your eyes and take a moment just to kind of be however you're feeling, observe. And I always say to people, like, spend this time, this is sacred time for you, where you're working on yourself in this session. This is all about you. So this is a really special time for us all to kind of relax and step into this space, relax into this space, so we can really find some answers for ourselves. So as you're just observing your breathing, observe any thoughts or feelings that may or may not enter your system. And I'm going to read the poem as your eyes are closed and you're relaxing. And this is the story of Frido. This is where it all began. This poem is the essence of the whole Frido system. Something stirs from deep inside. It twists and turns 1,000 times. It pulls and stretches into shape. A figure shows and moves around. A hand supports it from below until it feels and begins to grow. Building blocks are put in place until the figure is nice and safe. The figure starts to create its own from light and darkness, vibrating tone. Birth and death begin to rise. The figure splits to compromise. The figure then creates some space. Now life and death begin their race until the space has found a way to stabilize and have its say. Space creates a home for all. The separation of large and small, of water, fire, earth and air, weight and lightness, cold and brightness, pain and sorrow, love and joy. Out of this space comes girl and boy. The figure has journeyed through time and space, feeling as though it has won the race, looking around only to find a universe of an amazing kind. The training's been tough. It's been testing and rough. The figure is ready. It's complete and steady. Back to the source the figure must run, for now the journey has just begun. While you're in this state, just of relaxation, or however you're feeling, I'm going to read the actual card. This is the resistant card. I call it resistance resolution. When two opposing viewpoints exist, this creates resistance. Learning about these opposites help them create a perfect balance. Resistance arises from many things, ideas, thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. It's sometimes just a matter of misunderstanding or not recognizing one thing or another. Resistance can work in both negative and positive ways, depending on how you view a situation. Without resistance, our body, environment, and the universe would simply collapse. Resistance is also needed to grow and strengthen muscles, intelligence, and all parts of life. Allow resistance to stay in the dark, and it will be your master. Master resistance, and it will change your life. The affirmation is, resistance makes me stronger. Resistance makes me stronger. So resistance often is looked at and experienced often as negative, causes conflicts, stuck. You know, sometimes when we feel stuck in our mind or in ourself, our emotions, resistance is obviously at play. But on the other hand, resistance can of course be very positive. Of course, if you're going to the gym and you're trying to build muscles, you need the resistance. That's why they call it resistance training. So it can be very good. So again, it depends how we use resistance to whether it will be a positive or a negative outcome for us. So we're gonna go on to this first exercise. So the first thing we do, most people know now, apart from Nina, she will, is you pick a word. In Frido, we always pick one word to journey with. So that word obviously has a meaning for you. It doesn't matter what it means to me. And it obviously has got a meaning for you. It could be any word. There's no rule to what the word is, but it will have a meaning for you and something you feel like. It could be a negative word or a positive word. It makes no difference whether it's a negative or positive or neutral word, but it's a word you feel like resonates with you right now. And it's a word that you want to improve. Imagine if you could improve that word, the energy of that word in your life. What word would you choose right now? Would it be love, money, anger, fear, joy, partner, soulmate? Could be absolute, it could be a name of somebody, doesn't matter, just a word that represents something that you want to improve. And I'm just going to make sure Nina's okay on this. So Nina, have you got a word that comes to mind? Can you share?
It's just very simple. It's just health.
Okay, so improve health. Yeah, whatever that means for you. Okay. And then what you want to do, Nina, is we always now give it a percentage. So we kind of, the percentage would be how much of a master are you of your word? So if you're a master, you would give yourself a high percentage. And if you're not, you give yourself a lower one. So you feel what percentage, what number between 1 and 100 is the number that resonates with you. What's your mind saying, Nina?
30.
30. We also like to check it with the body. In Frido, we work with the mind and body always. And you can do it your own way, but I usually use a simple kinesiology test. You can try if you want. So you keep your fingers together and decide which one is a yes or no. Is it the one where you can't break your fingers open, or is it the one that you can? You decide, and then check in with your number. Say, is 30 yes or no? And then try it and see if it feels right in the body as well. And you can always check, you can go a bit higher with the number, a bit lower, start to experience feelings of when you're changing the number to see how it feels in the body. If one is a bit of more of a no or more of a yes.
Wow, that's wow. Very interesting. Definitely different for sure.
And what have you got? What number resonates with the body?
The 30 is, I changed it to make it a bit higher, and I felt so much less resistance.
Okay, so what number's correct for you? 30 or a different number?
30, yeah.
30 is the right number. Yeah, it's really powerful, that. It's amazing. Because the last thing we want to do in life is get our mind and body speaking different languages, not agreeing with each other. And how important, I'm going to ask Magic, how important is the percentages in Frido? Why do I make such a big drama with the percentages?
Yeah, so basically because we can compare actually what we've learned in this session and also to see like for the future how much still we need to improve.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice and simple. And anything else anyone want to add to that about the percentages? What they feel, if there's anything for them to add? No, okay. So what I feel is, Nina, I'll speak to everyone, of course, but what I feel with the percentages, it's so important. First of all, we've grown up being told how good or bad we are, right? At school, we're measured the whole time. You're good at this, you're bad at this, here's your percentage. That used to really irritate me, first of all. So it's really powerful to measure ourselves. Who else should measure us in our lives? You know, we should be measuring ourselves. It's very important because if we think we're better at something than we are, that's no good, is it? Well, we won't really ever learn because we'll think we know it all already, or we know more than we do. So we'll never really open our mind to more learning. And the opposite occurs, of course, as well, if we underrate ourselves. Often I have people I used to train and I used to say, wow, you can do that. And they'd say, no, I'm not good enough. And they would never step up because they didn't recognize actually they were better than they were thinking. So it's so powerful to be able to know exactly what we know and what we don't know in our lives in every aspect, because that I'd rather have 2%, which is real for me, than 90% that's not, because it's just stupid. It's like I'm never going to learn anything. It feels very empowering when I actually give myself a low percentage. Sometimes I think, wow, no wonder I've got a problem in that part of my life, because I'm rubbish at that area. I've been convincing myself I'm good because I've read a few books or watched a few documentaries on the subject. So that's very powerful. Okay, so we're going to go straight now into the exercise. So this one is called mind rebalancing. So we're going to start off with the mind exercise before the body exercise. So have you got some paper and a pen?
Yes.
And what I want you to do is, a lot of you recognize this kind of work. I've done this before, but not in this exact way. It's slightly different to some of the other ones you might have seen, but it looks a bit similar. And there's basically a triangle in the middle, and there's a wavy line across. And then on one side, you've got numbers. So you've got, I've got to check myself on which side. That's a +1, then a -2, and then a +3. And on the other side, it's the opposite. It starts with a -1, a +2, and a -3. This is the most amazing exercise for resistance, for freeing yourself of all resistance. If you've ever had any resistance in your mind, this technique frees it. It's that simple. So once you've got your little diagram there, so above where, is everyone okay? Nina, you okay there? You got yours? Mm-hmm. Oh, very good. So above the +1, above the line, just where it's +1, write something like one word kind of thing. You know, you could write 2 if you want, but just keep it, you know, 1 word or 2 as if you can. Something positive about your word you've chosen. So in Nina's case, one word that's positive about health for you. And all of you doing the same. And then once you've done that, go to the -2, so which is next to the +1, and write one word that's positive about what you put in the +1. Just one word that's positive about the +1. And then finally, above the +3, one word that's positive. Sorry, I think I read that wrong, didn't I? Sorry, above the -2, I meant one thing that's negative. I'm not sure what I said now. I think I said positive. So above the -2, something that's negative, one thing that's negative about the +1. That's what I meant to say. Sorry, excuse me if I got that wrong. So you've got a positive in the +1, you've got a negative in the -2. And then finally, in the +3, one word that's positive about what you put in the -2. So it even confuses me, this exercise. It's such a mind, you know, it messes with the head. This is an amazing way of taking the layers off of the resistance in your word. So I'm going to check in with Nina first. Can you just run through that for me, what you've written starting at the beginning with your word?
So I put body is positive, and then the negative is age, and the positive is movement.
So let me get this right. So your word was health.
Mm-hmm.
And something that's positive about health is body.
Mhm.
And then something negative about the body is age.
Mhm.
And something positive about age is,
Oh, sorry, I was doing
oh
something. that was-
yeah, okay, I thought so. I'm rubbing off, you see, my bad habits. That's what I thought. See, it's amazing, isn't it? It really tricks our mind, this confuses
Oh.
us.
I changed it to wisdom.
Wisdom, age, wisdom. That's beautiful. That's really lovely, isn't it? So you can kind of see the you can see the real benefits of health, which actually lead to wisdom in many ways, which is really nice. That's lovely. Yeah, I like that a lot. Mm. And the negative in there, which was age, because many of us have an issue with age. Age is a very powerful symbol, especially when it's connected to health, because most people say you get older, your immune system gets worse, you get sicker, you're going to die. You know, as soon as we're born, we're kind of, the idea of age is we're dying. From the minute we're born, we're getting not healthier, we're getting more sick. So it's a weird, you know, it's a strong symbol. But if we can change that, even by what you've just told me, it's like, actually, aging is wisdom, and aging is part of my health and wisdom. Suddenly I've got a slightly different feeling now about age. It's like, oh, that feels quite nice, actually. That's nice. Okay, let's do another one. Let's go to the opposite side. Thank you. Of the triangle. So we'll start off now with one negative word about your main symbol. One negative word about your main symbol. So again, in Nina's case, it would be what one word that's negative about health. And then once you've done that, the +2, one word that's positive about what you just wrote in the -1. So a positive word about the -1. And then finally, the -3, one negative thing about the +2. Don't worry if you're confused, we can just check in with everyone, make sure you're all okay, because it is a bit, can mess with the head. See, that's what it does, resistance in our life. It makes us freeze. Literally, doesn't it? It makes your brain freeze. It's like, it's so confusing. You know, sometimes things are so confusing in our life, we can't even think about them. We're just stuck. We freeze in our brain. And this is why. You can see why we freeze, because you're seeing what you need to do to be clear of the resistance. You've got to kind of understand this process in your mind, and most of us don't. It's really confusing. So we're going to check in now with Adina. Can we check that last side that you just wrote?
Well, the left side, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so symbol was love. Okay, -1 is negative about love is attachment. Then positive about attachment is deeper love. And negative about deeper love is more fear.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. That's terrific. So there's like, so love, there's fear, isn't it? That's why people don't fall in love. They don't like to fall in love because there's fear in there. There's the negative is there could be some fear in there. There probably is, because, you know, not in the sense of sometimes love, yeah, because we open ourselves, we become vulnerable, we do crazy things, you know, for love. It kind of can take over. It's like a drug. So of course that's a bit scary, and we don't know. We're always scared of the unknown, right? So it's like we don't really know what's going to happen. So that's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one. And now we can understand just by hearing that from you, Adina, I can really see clearly why people are so scared about falling in love. It's right there on the paper.
True.
And the attachment as well, because you mentioned the attachment at the beginning. Yeah, I mean, attachment's okay, but not if you're stuck.
It's like with resistance, like a little bit of resistance is good, but not too much,
Yeah,
because otherwise I won't be able to lift the weights.
exactly. Yes, you could hurt yourself, right? Yeah. So too much love could hurt you, unless you can handle it. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you've trained yourself to be able to handle that heavy, more powerful love. Exactly. Yeah. And what happens is people get hurt because they can't handle whatever it is, love or whatever it is. They hurt themselves and they don't want to go back in the gym again. It's like, oh, I don't want to go and lift those weights. They hurt me every time I lift them.
Oh yeah, true. It's like you haven't done anything, and then you suddenly go and you want to lift like 100 kilos, and then you hurt yourself. Same with love, right? Just take it slow.
Yeah, don't jump in too quick.
Yeah.
I always like to see it as a swimming pool, love as a pool, and don't jump in the deep end unless you can swim in the deep end. Start on the shallow end. So, but a lot of people don't go in at all because they don't like, they don't know what it's going to feel like. They don't know if they're going to drown. They don't know if they can swim. So a lot of people keep clear of many things because we're a bit scared. We don't know how to go into it. But if we treat everything like a swimming pool and decide like how much you want to go in, how quickly, and then you can start, getting used to it and then becoming good at it. That's really good.
It's like I started playing tennis and I was having this fear, like, what if I make like a real fool of myself because I haven't played for 20 years. And I said, no, you're not going to think about it. Just go and try. And it was okay. I survived. And it's good fun. But yeah, it's always the dance between the fear and the unknown.
Yeah, definitely. Very powerful. Okay, let's do another row. So it doesn't matter which side you start on. Well, let's start on the first side again. So you're going to do another row above the first row that you did. You're going to start again and see what happens. So you're going to begin again, +1, write something different. We'll write a different word that's positive about your symbol. Nina, I call it a symbol. When I say symbol, I mean the word you chose for the session. So another positive word about your symbol, and then go through it again. And if you're really fast at this, you can do a few rows, on each side. I wouldn't recommend doing more than 3 rows because it's a real head something. It's a head mish. And you might notice while you're doing it, you have more problems filling in some of the words. And we'll get to that in a minute. We'll see which ones you struggle with more and the ones you find a lot easier to find. That's where the resistance really is, or has been stuck in your life probably. Well, definitely. And when you've done that side, you can try the other one again and carry on going a little bit. So you've got maybe 3 rows in total on each side. And if anyone's finished their rows, we can check in with them. some people actually add more rows, columns. So they'd have a +1, a -2, a +3, a -4, a +5. They'll continue. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. I normally find this does the job, or they go on and on. You know, you can get into a bit of a mind kind of craziness the more you go, but it's quite good. If you want to do that, you can try it and see what happens. Sometimes surprises can come out of this. So who's got another row? How about Mina?
Yes, Gary.
Do you want to give us just one of the rows on one of the sides, any one you want?
My symbol is self-control, and I was a bit struggling on the right-hand side. But the left-hand side, the negative, the -1 is for the self-control is the -1 is get carried away.
Get carried away. Okay, yeah.
And the negatives of getting carried away is you make many mistakes.
Hang on, sorry. I'm just going to come back to you on that. Just start again. So getting carried away is what, a positive or a negative?
Negative.
So it's the -1.
-1.
Getting carried away. And then the positive of getting carried away is?
Yeah, I'm struggling on the positive side.
Oh, I see. You can't find a positive of getting carried away.
No.
Okay, that's excellent. I say it's excellent because it's really showing you where you've got resistance in your self-control.
Yes.
So what could be positive about getting carried away? Just kind of, you know, use your imagination. What could possibly be positive about getting carried away for you?
Forget about all your trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in that moment, when you get carried away, do you forget all your troubles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then the negative about forgetting all your troubles would be?
Making lots of mistakes.
Lots of mistakes, yeah.
Yes.
That's brilliant. And that's a good example of someone who likes to take a lot of like drugs.
Yes.
To get rid of their problems because they don't want to think about their troubles. So they might smoke a lot of weed or take drugs so they don't have to think about it. And that's a positive thing about that, is they're not thinking about their troubles.
Yes.
But then the negative thing, what you just said about not thinking about your troubles, is
making lots of mistakes.
Making lots of mistakes because you're not maybe thinking sensibly sometimes, or you're not connecting your real life into what you're doing. So someone who's taking a lot of drugs it's not probably helping them that much in their actual life. So they're going to make mistakes in their real life. Although when they're taking the drugs, they don't have to think about their troubles. So it makes a lot of sense. You see, now it's making a lot of sense why you've got some resistance, because you want to sometimes lose your self-control because you just want to forget all your troubles. You just want to go crazy, have a good time, just forget everything and just have a great time. But then later on, after you've had a great time, that sometimes can be a negative effect.
Yeah.
So it's important to recognize both and see if you can find a way to, to please both of those things. Maybe you can have a great time, but without making mistakes, for example, things like this. So it get you to think about it a bit, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. That's great. And what about Magic? Give me one of your...
So my symbol was self-sufficient and positive +1, freedom, -2, dangerous, +3, new possibilities.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, nice. Lovely. That's nice. Did you get something from any of that? Any of the exercise? Did anything come to you?
Yeah. Just like you said, sometimes it was like really hard to find the right answer, and I needed to look much more deeper, and even like asking myself a little bit, like going into like a silly approach or something which I will never think about it really, and then something appeared, you know, the answers. I have more answers also. For -1, for self-sufficient is not asking for help, and positive about this is self-worth, and negative it could be intimidating to others.
Okay. Okay, cool. So, so everyone, we don't need to understand everyone else's process here, because we would have different words or different negatives and positives for each of those. So, because they've got different meanings for us. So, of course, it doesn't always make sense to us when someone's expressing, but they know what they mean. They get it themselves. Okay, and Nina, do you want to give us one more of yours before I ask Limor?
Oh, sure. So going back, the +1 for health is being alive, and -2 is failure, and +3 is experience.
Wow, yeah, that's powerful. How does that feel for you?
It was very, very hard for me to come up with, strangely enough, I couldn't come up with the first word. It was very hard for me to come up with another positive. So that was the challenge.
Wow, that's unbelievable, isn't it? That sounds unbelievable, that you can't find loads of positive things about health. Or is it because you're viewing health as a negative thing? Like bad health?
I think I'm viewing it based on my own health.
Okay, I understand. So you can't, right, yes, so it's negative, it's more negative for you, your own health. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. And it's really good to just, observe it and share that. And it's really good to see these positives for you now, because that's probably the area that's harder for you to look at. And also to see the positives in the negative, I guess, as well, was it? On the negative side. So you could probably find the negative one, like lots of -1s, I guess. And then the +2s must have been quite challenging. Give us one of those.
Well, one was relaxation.
So the minus is this.
Oh, that's a positive. So the minus, did you want a plus or a minus? Sorry.
Give me a -1. I'm interested to see what you put.
Exhaustion.
Exhaustion. A minus about your health is exhaustion. And did you find it hard then to find a positive of exhaustion?
That one was a little bit easier with just relaxation.
Oh, so the positive about exhaustion is relaxation. Makes sense, yeah. Okay, and then the negative of relaxation
is laziness.
Right, and that probably bugs you. That might bug you with your health, because you want to do, maybe you want to do things, and it's like, but your health maybe makes you feel exhausted, and maybe lazy because of the exhaustion. Perhaps I'm only, take what you want. I'm just sharing just what I'm feeling as well. And then, okay, so what was the most interesting one for you out of all the ones you filled in?
Probably the failure.
Tell me that one again.
The failure.
So go through that whole line again so I can understand.
So the positive was being alive, and the +1, and then the -2 was failure.
Failure. So it can be, failure can be the negative thing of being alive, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the positive thing about failure?
Experience.
Yeah, that's cool. That's amazing, because actually all the most successful people fail the most usually. So that's amazing. So it feels very strong, what you're telling me. It's like powerful energy. I can feel a lot of powerful energy. It's very important for you, obviously, your health. And it feels like it's got on top of you a lot. Like there's a lot of resistance around it. So this is, okay, that's great. It's really good to have a look at it and see something. Okay, thank you. And Limor, you want to share one of yours?
First one, that is.
Anyone you like.
Okay. Okay, the second one I did, I also did about love. And then I put, which one do you want it to go, left or right?
Whatever, you tell me.
The negative side was you miss it when it's not there.
You miss it, yeah.
And
Negative can be you
about-
miss it, yeah.
And the positive about missing it is you turn to yourself.
Right,
And-
okay, yeah.
And the negative about it, that you time alone. You just spend a lot of time on yourself by yourself.
Oh, okay, you could be a bit lonely. You could be a bit lonely or something
Yeah.
like this. Because it's not being alone, is it? More lonely, I guess. This feeling. So sometimes, yeah. So love can actually make people feel lonely sometimes.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's quite interesting. Yeah. Love can make someone feel lonely. Strange. You think love, you won't feel lonely in love. But sometimes people for sure can. Because then they miss it, don't they? You don't miss what you haven't got. Once we've experienced something beautiful, we can miss it then. Okay, that's really interesting. Okay, let's move on now for the moment. Come out of the mind and come into the body. Because we don't want to overwhelm the mind. Frido doesn't want to overwhelm us. Because if we go too deeply into any of these exercises, we can trigger like a trauma response or something. You know, it can actually feel a bit stressful. We don't want that. We want to kind of do it nice and easy and smooth. And we're just opening up, you know, different concepts through this process, our awareness. So, you know, a house isn't built in a day. So our self-development isn't built in a day. So every time we do Frido, little bit, you know, just opening, creating, you know, positive seeds, you know, we can grow and be stable in that growth as well. That's really important. So the next one, we're going to now do a body exercise. I call it body training, a bit like weight training, body training. So choose an object that can represent your symbol for you. So that's maybe mine. So just choose any object. It doesn't really matter, you know, what it is, unless you want it to matter. Just something to represent your symbol. Okay, so just feel that this is your representing your symbol. And to begin with, the first exercise is just to observe it, use your senses. So just begin looking at it. It seems a bit weird. Looking at it, touching it, smelling it. Use your whole all your senses. Listening to it, even though it might not talk, but you know, use your ears. Tasting it in your own way. So I'm not saying you should lick it, or you can if you want, or just like breathing through your mouth, so you kind of get some kind of feeling. So you're connecting to your object. Now, this isn't about trying to get information from your object, although there will be a lot in there. There'll be loads of information in your object, but that's not for this particular exercise. It's more connecting to the energy of it. So try not to go into the mind too much. You might get things and think, oh, that's interesting. But it's more about the body. It's feeling it. It's feeling any sensations you might get. You know, maybe you're numb when you feel your object, or maybe you get a strong sensation. Maybe you feel sad, maybe you feel happy. Don't overthink what it is or isn't, just feel it. It's about training our senses in our body, our sensations in our body. It's not so much for our thinking, that's for more of our body. because we often leave out our body in many things. And that's often why we get unhealthy as well, sometimes, because we're in our head and not our body, right? Makes sense. If we're not in something, we're not going to give it the connection or the attention that it might need. We might not be aware of what it needs. So that's why it's so important to practice coming back into our body, sensations. And some people, if they've been disconnected from their body a lot, they'll feel a bit numb. You know, you'll feel yourself and you think, oh, I can't really feel myself even that much. I haven't got any sensations even. I've got a bit numb in my body. So we want to train ourselves. When we touch ourselves, the body starts to feel something more, become more alive, using that word. And then, so this is a really good exercise just to get used to connecting the body into your symbol. It's a bit weird. They're always a bit strange, our Frido exercises, but they have their reasons. Okay, so that's a good one to practice. And then we can do a variation of that. So normally if I'm in a group and we're doing this as a group, physically together in a group, we normally would find some kind of resistance. So somebody might hold my arm and stop me moving, or hold my body and stop me breaking out, you know, some kind of give me a problem, a physical resistance. We can do that ourselves as well. We can do like a press up or lifting something a bit heavy, this kind of thing. So the idea is we want to actually connect into resistance. Sounds weird, doesn't it? It's like we normally want to get away from it, but we're practicing actually being comfortable with the resistance, the feeling. Because imagine if you can be comfortable with it, wouldn't bother you. Resistance wouldn't bother you then, because you're used to it. You can hold it. When your body becomes a bit stiff or a bit stuck, you can feel okay because you practice with it. It only feels horrible because we're not used to it when it comes on and we fight it. It's like we don't like it. Or, you know, I've got a bad neck pain, or I've got a stiff back, or I've got, you know, conflict with something. So we want to practice. So if you kind of just go and do something like a press up or lift something a bit heavy, you know, use one finger if you haven't got anything too heavy, use something, just give yourself some resistance. See what you can find where you can use some resistance, and find the resistance and just hold it there for a moment until you can't anymore, of course, but just play with it.
Gary?
Yeah?
Do we call the body exercise body resistance?
Body training.
Okay.
I call this one body training.
Okay, thank you.
We're training the body with resistance. So you're finding some resistance. Once you've found the resistance, hold it for a bit and then release it, and then do it again, or find something else. Keep on going back into the resistance to feel it. It's weird. When we do this consciously, it's not a problem. It starts to change our relationship with how the body responds to resistance, and also the mind. But I would say more the body, this one. And just hold the resistance. And you'll suddenly realize it's not going to kill you. Resistance is not going to kill, it doesn't kill you. You can hold it. It might be hard, might be challenging, of course, sometimes. Resistance is challenging because why? Because it's changing something. Something's shifting. The muscles are getting stronger, or they're breaking, or the thoughts are weak, like the old thoughts are smashing down, you know, like breaking down. So there's going to be some challenge in that resistance. That's a good sign. It means something's there to change, to loosen, or to break through. So make it your friend, the resistance. So that's really good on that one. Sometimes I had a friend who, you know, she couldn't stand resistance, and everywhere we went, she avoided it. You know, she had to sit in the comfortable chair or the comfortable space. It had to be the right temperature all the time. And it was like she gave herself a headache. She couldn't go anywhere at the end because like there was always some resistance. The music's too loud, or it's not the right music. You go crazy with it. rather than getting used to that's okay. You know, I don't like it, but I'm fine. I'll sit here with it. It's not actually killing me. So that's a really good attitude to have in life. It's not, you know, it's not killing me, nothing. This is okay. Okay, so once we've done that practice, we now go on to the final practice of Frido. So we've done the mind exercise and the body exercise now. So Nina, in Frido, there's 25 cards. This is one of them. And they're all the same kind of process, with different exercises, same process. So there's always a mind exercise and a body exercise. And that's what I call a journey. And then we go on to the final part, which I call a ritual. The journey is more about like going into a classroom and actually studying like we've just done. We've studied, we've done a workshop, whereas the ritual is not a workshop. It's more like an active meditation. It's a practice, a ritual that you can actually practice. It's not difficult. You don't have to use your head like we've just done, and we don't have to overthink things. We just kind of do it. The benefit of the rituals are they will put the mind and body exercise that you've done into one ritual, one very simple ritual. It's all there. You don't have to overthink it. It's all in there. So every time you practice the ritual, actually you're exercising this concept without even thinking about it. And the other benefit is it's good for the body. So one of the benefits of Frido is it's about developing our natural abilities as a human being, you know, developing our brain through different rituals, our body, sensations, our emotional intelligence. They're all designed in different ways to improve those parts of our human ability. Because imagine if you had super abilities, like your brain was like amazing, both sides of your brain, your emotional intelligence and everything, you'd be amazing. You'd be Superwoman and Superman. You could deal with anything. So this is kind of one of the concepts of Frido. It's to develop us into more of a super being, let's say, without being too pretentious. We are super beings. This is called resistance freeze, of course, because the energy of resistance is freeze, is stuck. So, but we're going to do it as a beautiful ritual. So to begin with, just with your object that you've got, just give it a squeeze and freeze it. Yeah, give it a squeeze and just freeze it there for a moment and then release it. And then you can have a little move it around a bit. And when you're ready, give it a squeeze and freeze again. Freeze it. So this is your symbol, right? It's like your symbol's carrying on in its life, moving around, and suddenly, bang, it freezes. Your love freezes, your health freezes, your self-control freezes. That's what actually happens. It gets frozen because there's some kind of resistance there. And then release it. All right, now we're going to include the breath. So as we're moving our objects around a little bit and we're breathing, as soon as you squeeze your object, I want you to also freeze your breath. So when you're ready, right, I can tell you, I can guide you if you want. So ready, squeeze and freeze your object and your breath at the same time, wherever it is in that moment, and then release it. And then carry on breathing. So you're going through your day, you're just breathing, and suddenly squeeze and freeze. And release. It's very, very powerful, this. We'll do one more of this one before moving on to the final. So you're just breathing, and whenever you want, you decide, just stop, just freeze, squeeze and freeze whenever you want. Could be halfway through your breath. It could be at the top of your breath. It doesn't matter. Don't try and work it out when. Just do it randomly and then release when you want. You might want to freeze it for a second. You might want to freeze it for a minute. You can decide because you're just playing with the energy of freezing. So we'll do that for a minute with the breath. In fact, what it does is it gives your mind and body time to catch up, because we're all over the place. Usually our body breath is too fast. Our energy is going too fast. We're thinking about too many things at the same time. So this gives us a chance of catching up, our body and mind catching up with our energy, or our energy catching up with our mind. So now we're going to do the advanced now. We're going to move the body around at the same time. So just move your body as well, just like naturally. It doesn't matter, you can dance or you can just move naturally, however you want. And then again, when you're ready, you just freeze everything, squeeze your objects, freeze your breath and freeze your body at the same time, wherever you are. And you decide, of course. And then when you're ready, you just release and carry on. You can play with this. You can do it very quickly. You can do it slowly. You can just explore however you want to explore this freezing energy. It's also teaching you to stop your mind when you want. The freeze actually helps you just stop your mind in a second, and also your body. You can just stop. It really helped me because I used to be a bit short breath, like in the day, because I'd be thinking such a lot. And I'd notice I was having long periods where I wasn't breathing too much or very short. And this really helped me kind of relax my diaphragm doing this exercise, this ritual, and slow down my body energy and relax into it. It's very easy, the rituals. You can practice them wherever you are in the world. If you're feeling a lot of resistance in your life, definitely use this one. If you're having a day where you're feeling a lot of resistance somewhere, do this one. It can break that resistance. What it does is it doesn't get rid of it. It makes you feel comfortable with it, that's all. It doesn't become your enemy anymore. It also realigns everything. What it does also, it gets things to realign. So when you freeze everything, your mind has a chance now to balance and reground itself, and so does your body energy and your soul as well. So everything has a chance in that frozen moment to realign itself more, come back into alignment. You're not too much in your mind, or you're not too much in your body. You're just, everything's now exactly in the same moment, including your symbols you've chosen as well. Okay. And to give you an example now, I'm just going to show you, I was going to do it earlier on. A good example that I show people of what resistance is, I'll show you an example. And the reason we use negative and positives, because negative and positive is the basic energy of resistance. It's the basic energy. It's like magnets. One is positive and one is negative. And they can, well, magnets can repel each other or attract each other, in fact. Depends what polarity, but negative and positive is like a basic energy that can create resistance, because one is positive and one's negative. They're just opposite to each other. You could say, you could use words and emotions and situations to describe this kind of resistance, but the basic energy of all of them is positive and negative that's going on. And if you can imagine my arms here, and this is positive, and that's negative. And my negative one wants to pull this way. And my positive energy wants to pull this way. The problem is they're connected. They're one. I can't break them. They're part of each other, in fact, like yin and yang. So they're just part of each other. They're the other side of each other. So they can't actually break off. The negative nature is to go this way. And the positive nature is to go this way. They can't stop that because that's their nature. If you say to the positive one, hey, go that way, be negative, it can't. It doesn't know how to. It only knows how to go that way. That's its nature. Like a lion only knows how to be a lion. You can't say be a gorilla or a chimp or a tree, because it doesn't know how to, because it's not. So that's what's happening within our symbols. There's energies within there that are pulling against each other. There's certain viewpoints in our lives and situations that just go against each other. You can't convince the other viewpoint to agree with your one. It's not possible. It's like trying to convince black to be white, heavy to be light. You know, it's impossible. But what you can do is you can negotiate. That's why I call this resistance negotiation. Resolution. Resolution. It used to be negotiation, but it's finding a negotiation or resolution. How can you get them to work together? Think about this for a minute. So imagine everything in your life, your emotions, everything isn't actually who you are. You know, they're parts of you. Your health is part of you. Your love is part of you, but it's not like you. You know, you're you, but that is part of you. It's inside you, and it's going like this, for example, and another part of you is going like that. In Frido's case, it's the positive and negative of your symbol. That's what is happening. So how do we get them to work together? Because they're equally powerful. One can't win over the other. You can try and pretend. You can decide, oh, I'm just going to smile all the time, and therefore I'm going to just be positive. But you know, people who do that, they end up being manic depressives, you know, the comedians of the world, and the people who think, I'm just going to be confident. I love that. I hate being underconfident. So they become actresses. And most of those people I know who I coach have got low self-esteem, incredibly low self-esteem, like pop stars. You know, they commit suicide all the time. So it's kind of a real good demonstration when we try and make one win over the other one. It can't. It's like trying to suppress an emotion. It's like we know, most of us know, if we suppress an emotion, it will become demonic. Is someone? Oh, Nina, is that you?
Sorry.
Oh, I thought you wanted something.
No.
So we know that. So we can't do that to any parts of ourself where resistance is showing. Where the resistance is showing is because this is happening. That's what's happening. There's two different energies in ourself that's going like this. And we're feeling it. How do we negotiate with them? How do I get them to be able to be both win? How do we get a win-win? This is a lose-lose. If I try and force one the other way, it will be a lose-lose, because this one will find another way to get its own back. Because balance, polarity, will always find a way to rebalance. So this is one of the laws of polarity. If it always has to everything has to always rebalance. So we need to be able to always see and allow both sides of everything to express and to be able to be valued in the same way. So what I do now is I say now, because I've got awareness, I'm actually I'm not the negative and positive. I'm over here. Look, I'm over here, but this is part of me. So I can see it, I can feel it, I can think it. What I've got to do is I've got to have the new awareness. I've got to say, look, you're both losing. What's the point of fighting each other? This is not working. So why don't you agree that you allow each other to be yourselves? Because positive can go that way. Let positive go this way, and then positive, let negative go this way. And then suddenly what's happening is they can be each other. They can exist. There's no resistance, is there now? There's zero resistance. Why? Because they're allowing each other to be themselves. They're each saying, go on, you have a go. And then the other one saying, you have a go. If any of them stop at any point, you go back into resistance. So they both become to be aware that the only way they can actually be themselves and win is to let the other one also win. This is the beautiful thing. Win-win in your relationships, in your different view, but in your own thought processes. Let all your thoughts win. Don't let them fight against each other. Say, hey, you can all have a go. I'm going to listen to all of you. and I'm going to help you win. And this is sometimes a struggle concept, but this is the way it works. This is the example, and there's no resistance. In fact, they can't live without each other. That's the irony about resistance. The things that normally don't like each other can't live without each other. Anger, happy can't exist without sadness in the law of polarity. They can't exist without each other. That's the thing. They need each other, yet they make each other enemies and they try and fight each other, not realizing they actually need each other. There needs to be a sadness in order to be a happiness, but not in the way we've necessarily experienced in our life. If we've only experienced sadness as negative, then we won't want it. But if we can see that it's also can be positive, then we suddenly think, well, I can't have it both ways. I've got to, to have the positive of sadness, I've also got to accept the negative. But here's the beauty. When we accept the negative aspects of everything, they disappear, kind of thing, because they miraculously find a beautiful way to express themselves, not in the way that they have in the past, where it's been really negative for us. Like, for example, when I hear blues music, that's quite sad. It's very melancholy and it's very beautiful for me. Some people hate it. They don't want to feel like that. I feel it's a lot of beauty. If I see a sad picture, a sad story, like a film, that sadness that negative can be very beautiful, like humbling, and you can feel very empathic. It can help you become more empathic. So everything changes when we start to look at both sides. And the mind exercise we did is exactly to look at that. You've demonstrated on paper that actually there's a negative in the positive. There's a positive in that negative. It goes on. And what that shows you is they're all positive and negatives. Every single thing has a positive and negative. The problem is when we don't see one of those in our life, we try and ignore one of those. We try and suppress one of those negatives or positives for different reasons. But the only reason is because that we've got some resistance there for a reason. Maybe our past experience, whatever, the way we think, our system is making an enemy of one of these sides. So really, really, I encourage you to practice. Anytime you've got resistance, anytime you've got a conflict in your thoughts and beliefs, challenge yourself. Go onto the piece of paper there and even write that down. If you've got a problem with someone's viewpoint, write it down and test yourself. Look at the negative of it, then the positive of that, and then the negative of that. And you'll suddenly realize, okay, that's actually quite interesting. There's a negative and a positive of that viewpoint. I didn't see that. And suddenly it releases that energy. Number one, you'll feel better about it. Number two, you'll probably understand that person's viewpoint better. And you can actually talk to them then and have a conversation. And they can then maybe listen to yours, you see. When you break your resistance, it also breaks other people's resistance with what you're saying. So it's very powerful. Right, we're going to go on to the final bit, is where we write down one key learning from this session. So have a think about what's your key learning. Don't worry about lots of learnings. We don't need to do that. Just like one key learning, which is the one that kind of stands out, the one you want to remember about your whole journey today. And write it down just in a simple sentence, a short sentence. We don't do a lot of detail in Free-Do. We don't do hard work in Free-Do. It's all about simplicity. Simplicity is the key to Free-Do. It's the key to life. Imagine if you could tap into the simplicity of everything. Playing tennis, doing cooking. Once you get to that simplicity of anything, you're the master. You become the master of it because you see the simplicity of it. You understand it. So we encourage that. Keep things simple if you can. Always simplify. So just capture a short sentence of a key learning for you today. I'm repeating a few things, guys, because Nina's with us. So I'm kind of repeating a few extra things that you've heard a million times. So I'm going to work with Nina a bit. Have you got your learning, Nina? What can you share?
So I kind of jotted down something that you said that really struck me when you said let all your thoughts win, and I was just kind of processing it, like the power of like duality, negative and positive, and being able to not necessarily change them into something that is has no conflict or has no resistance, but to allow them to really be themselves.
That's
That
nice.
was very powerful for me.
Beautiful. And how can you sum that up in a short sentence of several words?
I guess the power of the strength of duality.
That's nice. That's lovely.
I've always thought of it as you're trying to neutralize things, where this is like allowing them
Oh,
to
yeah.
be in their own power.
I love that. It's like what used to really annoy me is when I was growing up and people would, and then, oh yeah, become Zen. I'd start meditation. Everyone would go, you got to be Zen. Now, for me, Zen was the most boring idea. It's like, I don't want to be nothing. It's like, it feels like nothing in the middle of everything. It's like everything's Zen, not too happy, not too sad. And it didn't sit well with me. And then I realized, I looked at someone who was rollerblading and I noticed, you know, to the best rollerbladers, what they do is to move, they have to go off balance. They can't stay there, can they? In the middle, they don't move. It's like you're not moving, you're not living. So it's like you have to go off balance, then come back and then go the other way. And you keep to go up to create movement. And it's like, it reminded me of like this. So the more we go this way, the more we go that way, we can actually create much more life energy. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, that was lovely expression. Thank you. And then what I want you to do is make that into like a 3-worded affirmation. So how can you turn that into a 3-word affirmation, that learning? I mean, you could use more words, but I'm trying aim at 3 if you can. And if you've got one, let us know.
I don't have one yet.
That's okay. Yeah. I'll give you a minute. Who's got a learning affirmation? Magic?
I did, Gary.
Okay, Mina.
Yeah. My symbol was self-control. So my affirmation is I am in self-control.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, I liked it. I am in self-control.
That's lovely. What I love about that is that you're making the choices. You're taking ownership of what you decide to do. If you decide to do something and maybe it has a bad result the next day, it doesn't matter because you were in self-control when you did that. You chose to do whatever it is you chose to do. You had the power, you chose, no one forced you. And that's really important. It's like no one else can force you. You chose, even if it was a bad thing as a result, you chose, you still had the control to say yes or to say no, and you chose to say yes. And that can be empowering, even if it was a bad result. It's like, okay, it was a bad result, but I chose it. I'm responsible, and that's empowering because next time you'll realize actually I'm choosing yes or no. Very nice. So I'm in self-control. Beautiful. You always have been. You just haven't realized it. You haven't owned it.
No, I didn't own it.
No, of course not. Because when something bad happens, we blame everyone else. We say that I wasn't in control, it was everyone else. It's a bit, it can be controversial. You know, all these viewpoints can be controversial, of course, but have a look at it anyway.
I'm good at that. Blaming everyone else.
Blame it on me. I'm used to it. Lucky I'm thick-skinned. I'm used to that. No, that's good. And Nina, have you got one yet?
So I think that it would be the power of my own. I don't know of my own duality, like the negative and the positive.
So if I was to ask you about about you, like, hey, how are you, Nina? You would say to me in a few words, what would you say to me? What do you want to say to me? What would you want to say to me? That's the affirmation. What do you want to say to me? What would you like to be real?
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go on then.
I would like to say that I'm feeling strong and healthy.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. How does that feel?
Good.
You feel a bit tearful or something sensitive with that. Yeah, that's good. That's showing you got something. You've got something powerful there. So say it one more time.
I'm feeling strong and healthy.
Yeah. The point of the affirmation is, Adina, what's the point of the Frido affirmation?
Is to tap into the mind.
Uh-huh. And tap into it and what?
To maybe engrave it into the mind.
Exactly.
As well.
Exactly. We're brainwashing our own minds. Better than everyone else brainwashing it, isn't it? Might as well brainwash our own mind. Someone's going to do it otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's like, exactly. So we actually, because remember, the brain is like a computer. That's all. It's not us. It's a computer that we use. It's part of us. And it's got a design, a reason. It's very clever computer system that we have, so we can program it. So the affirmations are like brainwashing. We know that can work, brainwashing. So the affirmation is about brainwashing. Our subconscious doesn't know the difference either. It's like we might struggle. The only thing that we'll struggle with when we say that affirmation is the part of our brain that doesn't like what we're saying, doesn't believe it, because it's saying something else. It's saying, no, I'm weak, or no, I'm unhealthy, or no, I'm not worthy. You know, but so we're in a way, we're not forcing a new affirmation to come into our brain. And it might take time. Think about it. It takes time, right? It takes years to actually become very negative or to have belief systems. It takes years and years and years without us realizing it. All our lives, we're not realizing the first 10 years or 20 years of our life, we are programming our brain mostly unconsciously. And then we have problems, right? Oh my God, I can't, you know, and people say, yeah, but this is who I am. I can't think anything different. No, because you've spent years, thousands and thousands of times, you've been brainwashing yourself. And now we've got to continue brainwashing ourselves, but with stuff that we want to brainwash ourselves with. Right? So very powerful, really powerful brainwashing through the affirmation. Doesn't matter if you believe it or not, just keep on practicing saying it, because that's what you want to believe. You want to get to a point where you actually believe what you're saying. This is important. Okay, and what about an action? So the final thing you need to do is you need to put your learning affirmation now into a physical action. Because you're just sitting here right now, you've done your stuff, you've had some realizations, but now you've got to physically go and live it. How many times do you leave a workshop and you think that was great and you don't implement anything? Like so many times. So this is really about consciously picking up what you've learned and going and implementing it. And that's also hard because, you know, to make any change, you know, it's hard. The body's also programmed. The emotions are programmed, everything's programmed. So we're kind of reprogramming in many ways, and that's not easy. It's simple, but not easy. So think of one action. It can be a very simple action, or it can be a challenging action, whatever you want, that you can go and prove that your affirmation is true. There's no point in saying, I am healthy, and then you go out and you're not healthy, or I am love, and you go out and you've got no love. You've got to prove it a bit. Maybe you're going to go for a run for health, or you're going to go and buy some vitamins, or what you're going to do to prove your affirmation. You can have a healthy dinner. It doesn't have to be too big a challenge. That's the thing. It's just slowly getting into these habits. So think of one simple action you can take place. I always say one simple action because otherwise it's too many. With Frido, there's probably lots of things we've learned, and there's probably lots of ways we can test it. We don't need to focus on all of them, just one of them, the one you feel is most key for you. And if it's too challenging, make it an easier one. Like, it's fine to make it challenging if you do it. If you find that you can't do it, you need to change that action. The most important thing is to carry out the action. Doesn't matter how hard it is. That's not the most important thing, how hard the challenge is. Otherwise, we invalidate ourselves. We say we're going to do something and we don't. And that's just saying we can't do what we're saying. So better to make something very simple. Better to make it that you can do even in a minute, like just get it out of the way if you need to. It just starts training you to say, right, this is what this is my new affirmation. And look, I can do it. Once you've shown yourself you can do it, you've done it. And you'll see what happens. Magic happens after that. You don't need to keep on over focusing. Then you just got to watch what happens in your life. Practice the rituals. I would always encourage you to practice your rituals. If you want to work on your health, Nina, then keep on practicing the ritual with your health symbol, right? Obviously, if you want to get good at tennis, Adina, you would go and practice, wouldn't you? It's obvious. Yeah. It's so obvious. It's everything's so obvious in life, but we just don't do it. We don't see it. It's like ridiculous how stupid us humans are. In fact, it's ridiculous. So if you practice with your if you want to get better with your symbol today, do the rituals. That's exactly what they're there for. And I guarantee you'll do them, then just observe your life and notice what happens connected to your symbol. Sometimes notice the littlest to begin with, notice the tiniest things. Like in yoga, I'm sure, like stretching, you're not going to notice a huge change after day one. You're going to notice, you want to notice tiny changes, like the tiniest of changes is what we're looking for. Because if we don't see the tiny changes and because we're looking for the bigger change, we miss the actual change. We miss it just by not seeing it. So it's really about us becoming more aware of the subtle and the tiny changes in our life. That's so important, tiniest changes. And you know what? Life is always up and down, always going to be up and down. Doesn't matter. As long as you're learning, it's like, you've learned something today. So even if you have a bad day tomorrow, or you've lost, you're not so good with your symbol next week, it doesn't matter. You've still learned something. It means you're still better off somehow. It's logical. So, just keep on learning new things and practicing with your symbols, whatever you're working with. And sooner or later, it will go up. It's like the crypto. It might go up and down, but hopefully, I'm hoping it will go up long term. So, yeah, give yourself a final percentage. So check in again with your mind, like what number you think, and then check in with your body. Do they match? Make sure they're matching. And don't worry if it's the same number, a lower number, a higher number. This doesn't matter. The truth matters. That's all that matters here, what your truth is. Don't question the number, just kind of, because there's lots of reasons why we give ourselves lower or higher or the same number. Doesn't matter. And then we're going to go around and do the final share to complete the session. And I don't know if Nina's got a few minutes at the end of the session. Have you got a few minutes still at the end of the session, Nina, or do you need to rush?
I have a few minutes.
Okay, just to check in with you. So we'll start off with Limor. So your final sharing, anything you want or don't want to share, this is your chance of your journey today.
Okay, so I start with 7 for love, and I finished with 7. My key learning was accept what there is, and the sentence I had is acceptance to balance, and the action, do the things that care for myself. Development, art, sing, dance, painting, puppets, Then I realized I've got to make puppets for my show. So I make 3 puppets, which is quite a lot of task. And then ask for help if I need somebody else to help me. And then I remember I need to send my email of the activities I did for October, November. I didn't do this month. I didn't feel like doing it. It's like sometimes I don't do things because I don't feel like, I don't find the inspiration, and it's so weird because it's like if I love myself enough, I will do the things that I need to do, not just wait until I feel like doing them. So that's something. That's why probably why I still go 7, because I still need to shift that.
I understand. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, just as a little word that I caught was you self-love is also doing what you feel like, right?
Yeah, what to feel like.
Yeah, you know, there's the 2 opposing things. What you want to go and do your activity, and you want to just relax and chill out.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe you can honor both of those.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you end up, what happens is you end up doing the chilling out, and then you resent that because you want to be doing the doing. So you start resenting the chilling out and saying, oh, and that creates, and that you get more tired.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to chill out, just accept it. Say, hey, I just want to chill out. I can do what I want. So I can do what I want.
Exactly,
Yeah, I can do what the hell I want. When I feel like doing the activity, I'll damn well do it. Until then, I'm going to chill out.
Yeah, but it's like October is almost gone, and I haven't sent emails.
I understand. No, I understand. There's all these.
I need to get it balanced. Means I need to do the things I need to do. Like for me, the inner child taking over, and I need to
I get it.
The adult.
So what you could do is you could say, right, for 2 hours, I'm going to get my activities done, and then I can chill out. So you're kind of pleasing both of them. That's the deal. Negotiate between them both. Say, you know what, I feel like chilling out, but I need to do this. So let's negotiate. If I do the job, when can I chill out? Give yourself a gift so you can really chill out and embrace that part of yourself that's calling you. So that's nice anyway. Okay. Thank you. Mina?
Yes, Gary.
Anything you want to share?
Yes, I think today's journey was very, very therapeutic for me. And thanks to Nina, because of you, Gary's talking a lot, and I like listening to him anyway when he talks, and he gives lots of advice. And for this journey, Gary, I find it, I was a bit confused when we did the mind exercise, because when we did the minus and the plus, I remember the last time we did an exercise like this was, we were doing the positive of the +1, what is the positive of the +2. So we're doing one line, but today it wasn't like that, because we were doing the plus and the negatives together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but it was a great exercise to do. And the ritual as well was very good. And my action for this journey, I will take it from the ritual. Whenever there's a situation comes, I'm going to freeze and release. So I'm going to freeze and then release and then think about it and then take the next step, so I don't get carried away. And I started with 25%, and I came to 48. And yeah, it was a great journey today. There was lots of writing, lots to take. I need to go on the recording and watch it again. And yeah, it was a great journey with all of you today. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Well done, Mina. That's great. You're struggling with the mind ones, because the last 2 journeys we've done have been very much about this mind, positives and negatives, and it can be very mindy. And that's probably why in the past you had a lot of mental stress, you know, a lot of mental conflicts and stuff, you know, when you were feeling depressed and stuff, because you couldn't understand, you know, what was going on inside, and why is this happening and why is that happening in my life. That's why you're struggling a little bit more with these ones, but this is going to be really what will make you super powerful, because once you get your mind in more control of it and it's not bothered, you actually start working with it, you're going to be which you are already. You're doing so much stuff the last year. Amazing. It's just going to go from strength to strength. So well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Adina? Adina's probably swimming in the lake, in the park.
No, I have to go back because then I'll have to go. So yeah, percentage was 65 and then it's 75%. And the action would be to, every time there is something negative that comes up in relation to love, to find the positive in that negative.
Uh-huh.
Is that okay?
Well, that I would do the whole exercise, because by looking at only one, you don't go deep enough. If you're only looking at the positive of the negative, you don't go deep enough.
Oh, okay.
Like, do it a bit further. So so when you see something negative, look at the
Yeah.
positive of it, and then look at the negative of the positive.
Okay.
Keep on creating more and more balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in that energy. That's
Okay.
cool.
All right. I was just coming from the idea that love is like positive, and then something negative happens in relation to love, then we find the positive in it, so to create balance. But okay, fair enough.
Yeah, go deeper. It's not as simple as just positive and negative only. Go deeper into it, like we've just done in the exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Changes it. It takes more layers off that are hidden. Yeah.
Mm.
Otherwise, people do that. A lot of people do that. They look at the pros and cons of something, or they look at the negative and positive. They have one line of each. It's not deep enough. It's good, but it's not. It doesn't go deep enough just doing one line of each. So this is a very different way of looking into it. It goes much deeper. Okay. Yeah. Anything else?
And the affirmation was welcome it all.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, like the positive and the negative.
Nice. Welcome it all. Yeah, lovely. Why not?
I think, yeah, that's it. I like the positive and the negative approach to all things, of course. Yeah.
Lovely. Thanks, Adina. And Magic? Magic's going to sleep. Look, it must be about 10 o'clock there, 11 o'clock.
11, yeah.
11 p.m. in Thailand. On Koh Phangan. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but I had last night, I had a good sleep, so I'm awake and prepared. Yeah, so my symbol was self-sufficient, and I gave myself 45% at the beginning. And what I found interesting, actually, this mind exercise about finding positive in negative and negative in positive, that was actually challenging. And eventually I realized that those things are like on the same page, yeah, so to say. So
yeah,
we need to read it in the same line, yeah. So we can't really separate them from each other, and people are trying to do it. And then the body exercise, which was like a freezing, it was quite interesting also, because in this time when I was doing this exercise, I boiled the water for my tea, and I was in the freeze mode, not breathing, but I was putting the water into the cup, hot water. So and in this mind of self-sufficiency and so on, I realized that we can be actually in the freezing mode and we still can do stuff. We can still enjoy our life without any pressure, so to say. And another one was like when I was moving my object, my symbol, and I was in the freezing mode, but my will wanted to do it, wanted to just stop freezing, just do it again. And so sometimes I was holding really short because I wanted to move again. So it was also give me some thoughts about that this resistance actually create some kind of push. Yeah, so it's like you are holding something, but after if you lose the hold, you are getting like an extra kick to do it, which was also something, yeah. And my affirmation to that was just take it easy. And eventually the solution, similar as you advised here, like taking 1 or 2 hours a day of doing this stuff which occupied your mind to be self-sufficient, and just try those small steps, which eventually, yeah, can become like a habit, I guess. And at the end, I give myself a 61%, which is like a strange number a little bit. Normally I have like a round one, but I was checking, and 61 was the number which I came up with. Yeah, and the today's training was very informative. I think like Mina, I need to check again because there was some informations which I would like to hear again, I think. And I already found next symbol to do it. So yeah,
That's terrific.
I will try it, yeah, in the following days. Thank
Brilliant.
you, Gary.
Thanks, Magic. And the beauty is you can do the same exercise on anything, other symbols you want, of course. So this is just one of the journeys today. So you can use that on anything, not just health or love or self-sufficiency. Of course, you know that. So you've already, a lot of you have done about 10 or 12 journeys already. You've got 10 or 12 tools you can use on different symbols whenever you want. And you know, every time you do one, you're going to shift, you're going to learn something, whether it's just a mental learning or physical. So just keep on. I would encourage you to start writing your journals, like writing journals where you're keeping a track of things that are happening, like connected, especially connected to what you're working on, because that makes it more powerful. So if Nina, you have something that to do with your health happens this week, don't question it, just note it down, like, because you just want to kind of see if there's a pattern emerging or some connection. Sometimes it can get worse, of course, right? When we're learning something new, it could get worse. We've just learned to ride a bike and we might fall off when we begin learning. So don't kind of overjudge what's happening. Just notice it, think, oh, okay, that's an interesting connection. So Nina, we'll finish with you. What would you like to share for your final?
So my number went up from 30 to 50. And just kind of taking all of this in, and the physical action that that I'm going to take is just making sure that I'm doing 5 to 10 minutes of just being present in my body. I mean, I do like physical exercise, but just focusing just on my breath and just slow, gentle movements to bring me into my body, because the practice of working with the object and the resistance and integrating my mind and my body was a very powerful thing, because that I can become very in my own head, like most people, and very disconnected from my physical body. So I think being able to, or I can be in my physical body as just, tend to separate them. So being present to making sure that I'm integrating that.
That's great. Yeah, anything else?
I think that's it.
Oh, that's terrific. And also, Nina, for on the website, freedomaster.org, there's free play on it. That's one of the menus, and that's got all the cards on, and you can just pick a card, this one if you want, and it's got the ritual on there, it's got the journey, it's got a reading. So if you want to kind of have support, I use them because I need support as well. So when I go to bed at night and I want to do a ritual, I will choose one off the website, even though it's me on the video. I find it helps me a lot, you know, rather than me just trying to do it by myself. It really helps when I put that ritual on. It just kind of guides me and helps me, even though it's very simple. So use that as a resource. That's really useful. Just use the free play, it's there. Just kind of go onto it and think, oh, I'll do a ritual today, and just pick any card and do a ritual or have a reading. There's always 3 on there: reading, ritual, or journey. So whichever ones you want to choose. And we've got an app coming out very soon. It's all being made, so you can have it on your phone even. So if you're on a train or you're somewhere, you can just go on the app, do a ritual, and it's there. And also the nice thing about the app, you put your percentages in, you put your word in, and you get like a graph. You get like reports on this. You can see all your journeys that you're doing, and you also have a journal on there where you can also write your little notes, like dates, like it's like a little calendar thing. So you can just write down what's happened this week on it, and you can just go onto it, and you can keep a little record. So that's really cool. So nice to have Nina here. Nice to have you all here. I'm going to be here for another 5 or 10 minutes. So if anyone needs to go, you can just say bye now or soon. If you want to ask any questions, I'm still around. If you want to go without saying goodbye, that's okay as well. Whatever suits you.
I say bye.
Oh, my darling, lovely to see you. How's your lovely children?
Oh, they are very good doing homework.
Oh,
So
amazing.
they are good.
Don't do the homework.
Thank God I have headphones.
Oh, look, I love her. Look at that face. Look at that face.
So scary.
She is, look at her. She's so cute.
Me?
And you.
Yeah.
I know.
She got it. She got the compliments.
Yeah, Mina normally says she's very lovely when she's asleep. She's very cute when she's asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was nice today seeing having a new someone new, Nina, and hope to see you again. And what to say? I can't get the words. Yeah, but no, you will enjoy the journey.
Thank
Have to
you.
be consistent. Yeah.
See you soon, Mina. Have lots of
See
love.
ya.
See you soon.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Anyone going or any questions?
Yeah, I will go also. And yeah, thank you, Gary, for today. And yeah, we see hopefully each other in the whole group next week.
Lovely. Yeah. Also, somebody
nice to meet you,
Tiffany was asking me if we can do it at a different time, but I don't know. I'll put it on the group and check it out what suits everyone, because Tiffany finds it hard to come on at this time. But we'll see it. We'll see anyway. Okay, great.
Okay.
Lots of love, Magic. See you soon.
See you.
Take care.
Bye.
I think Adina's gone, hasn't she? Adina's
Yeah,
gone.
she left a message. She says that she had to go. See you next week.
Oh yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. We're actually having a Frido meeting tomorrow night, in a little Frido social in London tomorrow night. Adina's kind of been helping to organise that, so I'll see her tomorrow. So yeah. Anything you want to go or stay, Limor?
Yeah, I can go. Just I don't know what time the show finished, and then I'll see if there's any time left. But if there's a phone number, I can call and check if it's still there.
Phone me. Yeah. Phone my number. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
I'll send you my number so you can check in.
Okay, great.
But we should be there till at least I think at least 9 o'clock. But anyway, you can check
Yeah,
in.
but I don't know what time until what time.
Yeah. Okay. All right, darling.
And
Nice
it's
to
in
see you.
Ireland. Okay, thank you. Nice.
All right. See you soon. Bye now.
Meet you, Nina. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
And Nina, the final. So how was that for you? I did throw you in the deep end. I used to do like a whole introduction for people who were coming on, but I thought actually I quite like it like this. So I threw you in the deep end.
No, I definitely enjoyed it. I feel like I need that sometimes, to just be thrown in, and it helped in the group environment. I really enjoyed all the I found it really easy once I got into the rituals. I felt like that really helped me a lot. Yeah, I definitely I see so much value in just doing this one ritual right now. I really definitely enjoyed it, and kind of looking forward to working it again, like taking all my notes and going through and just kind of doing it again.
Yeah, that's nice. And remember, you can use the video on the free play. So if you want to, actually, I do the journey. If you click the journey, there's the actual journey link. I go through the mind exercise and the body exercise. So
Okay.
if you need that as well, that's quite useful sometimes, but it's up to you, whatever
Okay.
helps.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be helpful. It's always nice to have the guidance.
I don't
for-
do it. It's not as long as what I've done today. It's much quicker.
Okay.
I kind of go straight to, and then you can just pause bits if you need to kind of think.
Okay, yeah, that's nice.
And that's good. So do you feel like you want to continue a bit with the training, or you're not sure?
No, I think I would like to continue with the training. Is it always the same time, or how does it?
Well, we have changed the times due to requests sometimes, and like then I'll put it to the group and see if we can come to an amicable. I can't please everyone, but we try.
Yeah,
and come
you're dealing with lots of time zones and continents, and
yes,
it's
yeah. I
hard.
mean, we've actually got another 8 people who are on the training, but they just it's very hard. I got some in Canada, all over the place. So and some are working, of course, like now, but. Always let me know, like if there's better times, I can always put it on the group and try and find. I'm happy, I'm very flexible, so I work with the group. I might even put a second one on. What's good for you then?
I can make I'm working from home, so I can have a certain flexibility. This time is, so for me, in Central Standard Times, New York time, it is morning. So this started at 10 a.m. for me.
10 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah.
So 11, 12. So you're 5 hours.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
That okay.
So I could do a little bit later, which I guess would be like moving into later afternoon for you. I probably couldn't do earlier because I'm getting kids ready for school and getting things organized for the day. So,
it's a lovely time of the day, getting the kids ready for school. my kids are grown up, thank God. Thank God. I remember those horrible mornings. Three of my kids, they were just, my boy was amazing. He was just like all his life, he's just up, but my other 2 girls, my baby was just like a lazy, but you just couldn't get her up. She was so lazy and tired, and she'd do her hair sleeping, and then my middle one was so rebellious. She would do anything to rebel. Hilarious. But you've got that age, have you? They're a bit younger.
Yeah. So yeah, 6 and 3. So.
Oh wow. Yeah. Don't worry. It does eventually. You'll see in 20 years from now, you'll be laughing.
Yeah.
You'll be sitting where I'm sitting. As it happens, my middle one was I got divorced, 12 years ago, but my middle one was very rebellious. She was great with me because I had just a different relationship with her than her mum. Nightmare for her mum. I would say for 6 or 7 years, she was absolute nightmare teenager for her mum. But now they're like super close. She like grown up, but they all just grow up so different. You just don't know. Just don't know how they're all going to grow up. My 3 are so different to each other, completely. But a blessing. I've always tried to, it's hard because you're such an influence on how they're going to be in their life. You're such a great, influence. And it's so difficult because you kind of want to implant your ideas and what your ethics, but at the end of the day, they got to find their own. In my experience, I always try to give them as much possible freedom of thinking and doing that I could, without enforcing anything. I had to play some very clever games with my middle one. Like she said to me once, when she stayed at me for the first time, when we got divorced, she said, take me to school. She was about 12. And I said, no, I said, you get the bus. It's only 5 minutes. I'm not getting up earlier. I'm not your mother. That's what your mum does, right? Has murders with her every morning. So she then threatened me and she said, well, I'll tell the school and then you'll be in trouble. I said, no. I said, because when the teacher phones me up, I will say, I made sure you were dressed and fed, and I even dropped you by the school. Anyway, she went crazy at me, right? She goes, you what? She goes, what, you'd lie? And she's effing, you're effing lie and all this. Hang on a minute, I'm just